There's something wrong with Mary. I knew it the night I saw her crossing the parking lot toward Lucas's truck. The sodium lights buzzed overhead like trapped hornets, casting a sickly yellow glow on everything. The windows on his pickup were tinted too dark for the law, slick as black eyes. He leaned back in the driver's seat, a Cheshire grin stitched on his face. "Don't." She turned, slow, and gave me a smile so soft it made my stomach twist. "Don't worry, Jay. I'll call you tonight, Her breath made small clouds in the cold. She didn't wait for an answer. The door yawned open, the light shivered. She slid in. Lucas practically lived at the bar on Elm. He never heard no. People said it like a weather report: low chance of rain, high chance of Lucas ignoring consent. The police chief's son, always on the right side of unlucky stories. Women talked in bathrooms with the music thumping, voices paper thin, bruises hidden under sleeves. A few men spoke quieter still. Nobody wrote anything down. Nothing stuck to him. He went home laughing. The rest of us went home checking our locks twice. I didn't sleep. I sat on my couch, phone face up on the coffee table, as if I could keep Mary's name from lighting it. The clock hands moved in little gulps. Streetlight stripes crawled up the wall. When knocking finally came, it was small and polite, as if the night itself had learned manners. I opened the door, and there she was, Mary. Hair mussed by wind, cheeks flushed, that same signature smile, like a string pulled taut at the corners. I pulled her into me, my throat tight. She giggled against my shoulder. "Are we gonna stand in the hall all evening?" she said, slipping past. She smelled like bonfire smoke and something wet under the leaves. We did what we always did in a crisis we refused to name. Couch, cheap wine, take-out cartons breathing steam, a bad movie humming in the background. She ate fast, like she'd forgotten how, rice clinging to her lower lip until she pulled it into her mouth with the tip of her tongue. Her laughter came too sudden, too loud, and then died quick, like she was embarrassed by the shape of it. When I asked about Lucas, she wrinkled her nose. "You!" I said, and she laughed again. Only later did I notice the dark crescents under her nails. Only later did her smile seem stretched, overfed on something I couldn't name. I woke while it was still nobody's morning. The air in my apartment felt colder, empty of something it had held. The front door eased shut without the courtesy of a click. In the slat of light from the street, I saw her silhouette on the wall, long in ways it had never been. We don't have secrets, I thought. We don't. We promised. She knows everything about me, every failure, every imagined disaster. But what did I know about the parts of her that left without sound? I put on my shoes without socks, hoodie without thinking, and slipped after her into the night. The city shrank to the hiss of my breathing and the crunch of last autumn's leaves underfoot. She moved ahead of me as if she'd lived in this darkness longer than I'd been alive. The park swings shifted on their chains, though there was no wind. The duck pond was a black coin half buried in the earth. Past the park, the trees took over. The trail narrowed to a thread. Branches scraped my arms like hands that wanted something. The smell of damp loam rose up, thick and metallic. My phone stayed in my pocket. Its screen felt obscene here. Between trunks, something orange pulsed. I came to the clearing the kids use when they're trying to scare each other into kissing. Tonight, the bonfire was taller, meaner. Sparks spit into the canopy like insects fleeing. Lucas stood on one side of it, his hand at Mary's throat, fingers flexing as if he couldn't decide whether to squeeze or let go. His grin was gone. In its place, a tight, confused line, as if the script he knew by heart had changed a word and thrown him. Mary made a sound then. Here! Bubbling up, thin and bright. Wrong for the shape of his hand on her. He tightened his grip, and she laughed harder. I'd seen Mary cry. I'd seen her furious. I'd seen her kind. I had not seen her face do what it did. Her features sharpened like someone had turned the focus ring. Her eyes picked up the fire instead of reflecting it, and for a second, they were deeper than the night. Not cat, not wolf, not anything I had a safe word for, just more, less, narrower, wider. The edges of her teeth flashed. Lucas pushed her, and she went down like a creature ready for it, landing on hands and feet, fingers in the dirt. The sound her nails made against rock was small and private, and made me think of cages. Lucas, she said. She said his name like tasting it, not speaking it. He stepped back as if he saw it too, whatever had stepped into my friend. He swung. His fist cut the air. She moved, and the space where she'd been was empty. Then she was on him, weight and motion and precise decision. The bonfire popped. The night drew close to listen. Time shortened into beats, his eyes wide and childlike, the smell of iron waking. Something hungry and old in my ribs. Her hair lit at the ends like a halo that had slipped into ash. Her face, when she looked up, was Mary's again. The same mouth I'd seen argue with cable providers, kiss foreheads, bite into slices of orange. Her cheeks were wet, but not with tears. He saw me. His pleading made him look 15. I stepped into the clearing as if I'd been invited. The fire made the whites of my sneakers glow dirty orange. Mary's gaze found mine. Between us was the history of every sleepover, every shared toothbrush, every secret. Between us was the night she'd never told me about, and all the nights she hadn't slept since. She smiled at me. It was small, a kindness shot across a table. I nodded. It was a nod, like a vow. It weighed exactly what it should. I turned and walked back the way I came, along the thread of path, past the pond coin, under the chains that moved in windless air. The world felt rearranged, but not unfamiliar, just as if it had finally admitted what it had always been. When I reached my door, my hands shook so hard, the key sang against the lock. Something's wrong with Mary, and that's just fine with me.